Welcome to State College, Pennsylvania, a very creative and original name for a college town. But the main reason we are here is for the Nittany Mall, another Crown American that is really crashing and burning. Let's get a closer look at this mall that's just emptying out. Nittany Mall was a Crown American original that opened in January 1968, boasting Grant's and Penn traffic with 30 stores in between. It was a modest early mall, but gained traction very quickly, expanding in 1970 to include more tenants, along with a third anchor, Sears. Sears would ditch its downtown store in State College, and a decent number of small stores followed suit. Grant's would close down in 1976, but GB came to fill the void. Meanwhile, Penn Traffic would sell to Crown American, whom would rebrand the store as Hess's, one of their own department stores. Beyond this shakeup, the mall continued to be a steadily popular mall, and was even doing well enough to warrant a significant overhaul and expansion in 1990. The expansion in 1990 would bring forward JCPenney as a fourth anchor. Meanwhile, Sears would build a newer and bigger store elsewhere in the mall, and proceed to make its auto center a freestanding location on the property. Meanwhile, in 1992, GB couldn't stay alive on its own, and would be converted into a value city when it was acquired by the company. Hess's wouldn't make it in 1994, and then would sell off to the Bon-Ton. Going back to Value City, it would only last until 1997, closing its doors. The space wouldn't remain vacant for long, however, as it would be overhauled to accommodate a Kaufmann's store. In 2006, Macy's would opt against operating multiple nameplates and would vor all of them, turning them into Macy's stores. Nittany Mall's store was no exception. After this, though, the mall would begin to decline, tenants trickling away one by one. The mall was initially built to take advantage of the college town nearby, but as people became more frugal with their money and the recession of 2008 kicked in, this was just not a sustainable strategy anymore. In 2014, Priet, whom acquired the mall from Crown American, would see the writing on the wall and sold the mall to Namder Realty. If I sound like a broken record saying that, then, well, this was a very common trend among Pennsylvania malls. Crown American built, got acquired by Priet, whom would sell to Namdar or Mason Asset Management if they start to decline. And this is where the mall's decay really kicked in. JCPenney was the first anchor to leave in 2015, being closed along with 38 other stores in the chain that year. This was addressed, however, as a Dunham Sports came in to fill in the void. But then Sears would depart in January 2018 alongside 62 other stores. While the main store closed, the auto center actually remained opened a while longer until 2020. The biggest hit, however, would be the Bon-Ton, whom liquidated all operations over 2018. And finally, Macy's would announce plans to close in 2020, with closing sales cut short by Kung Flu Coffin. While the mall did reopen, as you can see here, the interior, as of June 2020, was a sad sight. The halls are mostly empty, with only a handful of chains willing to reopen. However, there was at least some good news on the horizon. Rural King came in to fill the mall's former Sears in March 2021, and Gabe's would open in the former Bonton in June 2021. There was even word that Bali's Mini Casino would announce plans to open in the former Macy's in 2022. Could the Nittany Mall experience a resurgence in the 2020s? We can only wait and see at this time. It's a long shot, but I'm willing to be optimistic about it. Filling in the anchors is a great step forward, but that interior will need to be filled back in. You might be able to tell, but this was another mall that came with a few compromises. First off, there was a security guard right there at the front doors when I walked in, hence the abrupt cut. And when I was trying to get the last shot of the mall entrance, I recall someone being right there, making it near impossible to get anything, so I had to turn to another entrance. Maybe it was someone standing there looking out in the windows, or a mom and her little kid taking forever to do something. I don't really remember. But I apologize for any transitions or continuity errors. It is part of the risks associated with this hobby. This mall is a typical 90s washing of Crown American. It's not the most aesthetic mall out there compared to the long-gone Schuylkill Mall or the ailing Lycoming Mall, but it's still got some charm about it, especially in those columns and skylights. Although one thing I was very disappointed in was the neon, or lack thereof. Almost all of it was shut off. I presume this was done to save electricity costs, since driving the Transformers would be quite taxing. But it was still disappointing to see only 1 or 2 tubes on, out of what's possibly dozens, maybe even 100. From what I've seen in other videos, the halls would have been bathed in blue if they were all on. Nonetheless, this is the overview of the Nittany Mall. It's kinda sad right now, especially with the loss of Dino's Pizza. But all things considered, there is a small glimmer of hope for the future. Never let the dream die. But enough from me. What did you think of the mall? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Share in the comments down below. And while you're down there, slap the like button. Or the dislike button if you hate me. I don't care. Thanks for having me, State College. And until next time, this is Doomie Grunt wishing you and the Nittany Mall farewell and good luck. You're gonna need it.
Bye.